time for some girl power right now in this session. Women leaders in MENA Leisure. On the panel, we have Zaina Dagger, Shifa Yousafali, Sheikha Munira Al-Sabah, Maria Gideon, and our moderator, Rukatha Bomik. Over to you, Rukatha.
Thank you so much. And incredibly honored to be part of this conversation on women leaders in MENA Leisure. Thank you so much, Menalac, in the first place for organizing this beautiful and very, very meaningful initiative. The industry, leisure and amusement industry, currently valued at $80.58 billion, will never go out of fashion. Fun never really goes out of fashion. And on that note, we jump into today's conversation with some amazing women leaders here, exceptional and very influential. A few words on leadership first. It's a culture that is built around compassion, empathy, collaboration, and a sense of purpose. And I'm so proud to say that our panelists today stand for all this and much more. May I start with welcome, of course, once again, and may I start with our first question for today. How do you all feel about being such incredible leaders within your organizations and as part of the regional leisure and amusement industry? Shall we begin with you, Sheikha Munira?
First of all, I'd like to thank Menalac for giving me this opportunity. I feel very proud to be an influential leader in my organization and in the industry in general. I have followed my dream and my passion, and for that to lead me to become an influential leader makes me very proud. I'm also equally proud that both Trampo Extreme and Play are local homegrown concepts, and they've gained people's trust throughout the years.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. They are literally changing the face of leisure and amusement landscape in Kuwait. Such beautiful concepts, really. Over to you, Shifa. You run some of the most mindful edutainment concepts, Orange Wheels, Orange Hub, and Orange Seeds Nursery. How do you feel about being a woman leader in this industry?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to the whole Menalac events committee and everybody who's involved with this event. This is truly commendable, and it's really impressive. And it's such an important time as well for all of us to get together like this. Regarding your question, I think more than being influential and more than being a woman, leadership comes with a lot of responsibility, and I'm honored, and it should, and I'm very fortunate also to be backed up with an amazing team to lead as well. So I'm very fortunate.
Amazing. Zaina, can we hear from you? You basically oversee an award-winning portfolio, concepts like Dubai Aquarium and Underwater Zoo that sees over 1.5 million visitors. That's something. Can we hear your thoughts, please?
First of all, thank you very much for having me, and thank you for inviting me to this panel. I feel very proud to be an influential leader in this industry. You know, this industry is very male-driven, if I may say. But for us to be women leaders in this industry, I personally feel very proud. I've been in the entertainment industry almost all my life, so I have grown to become an expert in this industry, and I feel very, very proud for that.
Amazing. Maria, can we hear your thoughts? You have a very deep knowledge about enhancing engagement and experiences within entertainment destinations. Could you please tell us about your experience?
Yes, thank you, Rukatha, for the introduction. I'm also very, very proud, hopeful, and honored to be here. And thank you, Menalac, for putting together this very fine panel of inspirational women. I think when it comes to leisure and entertainment, just a little bit like what Zaina said, I've been working in the entertainment industry my entire life, and I think that there's a lot of hope because I've always worked with some really inspirational women throughout my career, and within Majid Al Futtaim, especially within the marketing and sales department, it's a 50-50 gender balance, and we're trying to close that gap as much as possible. I think as well, anything related to people, culture, and marketing is a lot more. There's a lot more women in these industries, but we actually hope to see a lot more women in those various roles and the various growing sectors in the market as well, when it comes to analytics, digital, data, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're quite encouraging, I would say. On that note, the industry actually employs approximately 5.4 million people. But Shekha Munira, can we hear your thoughts on how many women do you think are part of this equation? And importantly, are they across all levels? If not, can something be done to correct this?
Sure. I'm happy to say in my organization, it's run by 60% women. I'm going to give you some examples of women in the industry. At the beginning of the pandemic, I attended many courses online on the future of the industry and reopening guidelines in both the States, Europe, and the Middle East. And many of the speakers were women in different levels of the organization and across different sectors, theme parks, water parks, indoor play. And also when you walk down the hall in IAPA, the world's biggest entertainment show, you see a lot of women, female buyers, and in the stand, you see a lot of women suppliers. So they're everywhere, and I believe across all different levels of the organization. My message to them would be to work hard and prove yourself, because I believe strong women support strong women, and they empower each other.
Couldn't agree with you more. Indeed, there is this power of lifting each other up. Absolutely. Shifa, over to you. This year has been quite the roller coaster, a lot of changes, a lot of learning for businesses as well as for individuals. How have you navigated through so many changes? How have you helped your people to navigate through these changes?
Yes, indeed, this is a very difficult time, not just across the industry itself, for many more industries, and there are very few people who are not affected by this pandemic. But in my company, I made a decision to take the impact across the company, and not just shrinking the company or making drastic cost cutting. And I have had a team who also supported this decision, and but also we also got in a wealth and wellness expert in to conduct sessions with our employees to make sure that they have been given a good mental wellness awareness during this difficult time, as well as we conducted sessions on financial planning, which is also important during this difficult time. So overall, I think we took it well. We also ensured that we communicated well with our employees. We never cut them off. Those are some of the steps that we took.
And very meaningful to that effect, because you've just talked about mental well-being, you've talked about cash flow, you've talked about communications. Such great points, such crucial things, because for the first time, I think we've sort of stayed apart from each other. We've had to get used to the virtual environment. It's amazing and commendable. Maria, can we have your thoughts on the same? As the world faces a new order, so does leisure and entertainment. How are you encouraging young women within your organizations to differentiate themselves through their skills, through abilities, and therein develop an infinite mindset?
Yes, very, very good question, Rukata. I think it's for me, it's probably threefold. I think the first one is, when you start with the leadership team and you start having more and more women in leadership roles, naturally, I think you will find a larger women workforce within the organization and within the workplace.
Yeah.
So encouraging more women in leadership position is the first step for any organization to try to grow their women workforce. And then the second one is changing policies. We have a policy around that we're working on around women, inclusion, and diversity. That is still in draft, but is going to come to life soon. And it's about changing policies across the board and having larger quotas for women, giving them a more favorable working environment, changing their benefits, more flexible hours. Being a woman myself, I understand how, and a mom myself, how difficult it is to be juggling both family and work. And also, I think upskilling is key, and just trying to grow the women who are within the organization who have potential, because I think we need to start with the people who are currently working with us and making sure that they keep thriving and developing in order to get to some of these leadership roles. And I think it's no secret, but amongst the Majid Al Futtaim holding team and our team, 50% of the leadership team is women, and we want to grow that even further. So we're working very hard around the clock to push the women agenda, and it's a topic I'm very passionate about.
What are some of the unique capabilities that you see women bringing on board? Because you mentioned almost 50% of your team is made of, across Majid Al Futtaim, is made of women.
Of course. Look, I don't think there's a certain set of capabilities. Obviously, every leader is different, but some of the things that you mentioned are very relevant and very true. So some traits like compassion, like humility, like an insatiable desire and will to learn, and curiosity for me is a really big one. Just staying curious and continuously learning, reinventing ourselves to make sure we stay relevant and we have skin in the game. I think we can see more and more women now sitting on boards and in the boardroom, which is encouraging. And I think it's important we keep following their lead and looking at what kind of skills they have and getting inspired by them.
Curiosity alive, keeping that zeal to make constant innovation and improvement. Zaina, can we hear your thoughts on how you are raising the bar at Emaar Entertainment that already boasts a stellar portfolio? And are you particularly proud of some of your achievements?
Thank you for that. One thing, if you allow me, I'd like to go back to the comment that Shifa made on how we were going through COVID and what Shifa's company has done for its staff, for its team, on financial planning courses, on talks about well-being. One thing, Shifa, I congratulate you for that. I think that's extremely important. We have, and we still are going through a time that is so unpredictable and so unknown that, yes, our customer remains our number one focus, but also we should never forget our team members. We should never forget our team, the people that are backing each company up, backing each attraction up, and they are actually the force, that's increasing our customer satisfaction, increasing our revenues. So I just wanted to make that point and really congratulate you on what you have doing. And on the second part of the question on what we have doing or what I have been doing at Emaar to raise the bar, I think our attractions and our portfolio and diversity at Emaar is the best of the best. The brand name, it's on its own talks about the brand itself. What we have been doing to raise the bar is just keeping the customer as our main focus. Being a women leader in this, I really have to put my shoes and ensure that the team members put their shoes in the customer's shoes. The customer always comes first. That should be the main focus, and all our scheme should be around that.
Thank you so much for saying so. Of course, and with such massive shifts, a lot of things have changed in the way customers want to engage, in the way customers want to interact. And thank you once again to Menalac and all its members for making the environment safe for us to have fun. That's incredibly important. Before we move on to our next segment, I would like to quote a stat from PricewaterhouseCoopers UK, where they have mentioned that leisure tourism and hospitality sectors are actually up 33% of their senior roles with women by 2020, which is this year. Now, of course, as we heard from some of the panelists already, that diversity and inclusion are actually moving up the boardroom agenda across industries, including leisure and entertainment. As women leaders yourselves, how are you encouraging youth, young women, to move up the management ladder, to convert the ideas into real benefits? Can we start with you, Sheikha Munira?
To me, it's like a matter of gender. But women in my organization, they have worked very hard and proved themselves and moved up the ladder. They were given the opportunity. I supported them. We supported each other. And they became leaders. I'm very proud of that.
Thank you so much. Zaina, can we hear your thoughts?
One thing that I'd like to make a comment on is, for next generation, for women in general, don't be shy. Don't be shy to ask questions. Don't be shy to intervene. Yes, we have to have extremely thick skin in this industry. Just be very passionate and trust your gut. When you're in a meeting with 90% of that meeting is men, don't be shy to ask questions. Don't be shy to speak your opinion, whether it's a correct one or an incorrect one. But I think we have to be extremely passionate. We have to be very strong and voice what we need until we reach up the ladder. What we're doing at Emaar and at our businesses is we're really encouraging women to be part of board meetings, to be part of senior management meeting, taking women from the junior role and then moving them up the ladder slowly is what we were doing internally for us to move them up the ladder slowly.
Are you spending a fair bit of time, energy, and resources on upskilling them as well to that effect?
100%. This is something, we have training programs, we have initiatives around this, whether it's for, male or female programs. It's not necessarily, female-driven programs in particular. But I think in Emaar now we can see more female leaders part of those programs. To us, to see a future of more female leaders in Emaar.
That is really amazing. Maria, can we move over to you? You spoke about policy changes that Majid Al Futtaim as a company are undertaking. Would you like to touch upon a little bit more on this aspect? How are you encouraging young women to move up the management ladder?
Thanks, Rupkata. It's several. There's not one thing that we're doing. It's a combination of things that is going to encourage these women to move up the ladder. And one thing that we've all spoken about is obviously upskilling and continuous learning. At Majid Al Futtaim, we launched our Leadership Institute and several different schools. Like we have a school of analytics and digital, a school of great moments, a school for leadership. And depending on where you sit on that ladder, you keep getting trained to keep growing. We also have really good and really strong mentorship and sponsorship programs for the top talent and the growing managers in the organization. So I personally mentor a few people in the company and some women amongst those. And I think it's one of the organizations I believe in this region that provides the most amount of support in terms of driving continuous learning, building an amazing culture, and just bringing all of these young talent together. I cannot even tell you how many different programs we have, but it's a huge amount of effort that goes into our human capital, building our human capital. At the end of the day, talentism is one of our key pillars of our strategy within Majid Al Futtaim, and it's an agenda that we will keep pushing to grow men and women and the younger talent into some of these very leadership and key roles in the company.
Leadership. As a leader yourself, what are your top tips when you go into a meeting, let's say, with a young member of the team?
Well, I think first I'm going to tell them to learn and to listen, because I think a lot of the learnings that I've had were like from shadowing my managers and my leaders and my CEOs. I think it's really important to listen and to learn and to understand how our managers and our line managers are actually conducting themselves in meetings. And I think if they have something that's interesting to share and they can contribute positively to the conversation, that I also encourage them to speak up and then just say what they have in mind and just be a part of the conversation. But I think a lot of the learning comes from just shadowing and then just being in these very high profile discussions. And so I encourage quite a lot of my teams to actually come and join some of these meetings with leadership teams, be a part of some committees, and shadow some senior leaders in the organization to continuously grow and learn from them. I think you're on mute, Rupkata.
Or is that Shifa?
Could you please repeat, Rupkata? I didn't hear your...
Absolutely. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can we hear your thoughts on diversity and inclusion and helping women move up the ladder?
For us, in my company, also more than 60% of our employees are women, and two out of three of my entities are headed by women. But in general, I think my thoughts, just like Munira and the others, would be that regardless of their gender and regardless of any other factor, I think completely individuals should be given a chance to move forward, upskilling, and any opportunity and given opportunities to hire.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. And I will stay with you, Shifa. If you could, recollect an incident or an event that actually propelled you towards taking up a leadership role, towards setting up your own company.
My stepping into the leadership role or setting up my company started from my instincts as a mother. So I think having my daughters and having and understanding what their needs are and understanding being a mother really helps me understand opportunities and understand the products and services that I would that my company offers. I think that's there is no other experience as such.
But that's Can we hear your thoughts on the same question? Is there a specific event, incident that you can recollect?
We couldn't hear the entire question.
Can you hear me? This is for Sheikha Munira.
Sure. I started my playgrounds because of my passion to work with kids. And also I have a passion to create beautiful environments. So I combined them together and I started indoor playgrounds. It was never to become a lead. It's not, the focus was not on myself. It was more like what to provide the community with. And when I provided these playgrounds, we grew together, and the reputation made me a leader.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Before we wrap up the session, which has been wonderful, absolutely meaningful, and I'm so stoked. My last question to both Maria and Zaina. There's a quote by Walt Disney where he says that it's kind of fun to do the impossible. Have you both set yourselves an impossible goal?
Want to go?
Sure. I can go first. For me personally, I don't think there's anything impossible in this world. You set your mind to something and you can easily do it. One thing that I am very proud of personally, which I have set my mind to, and I made sure that I reached that goal, is to become a CEO at a young age. So that's something to me personally that I am very proud. I'm very proud of myself for able to achieve that. It was not an easy task for me. I worked extremely hard. I worked long hours. But what I think contributed to this is, yes, number one, the trust that the company, that Imar gave me, but also I think it was passion. Passion really contributed to this. If you have passion, you have the will, you have the love of anything that you want to do, you can reach anywhere. So to me, this is something that, and I disagree with the quote that impossible is fun. There's nothing impossible in this world.
Thank you. Maria, can we hear your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing that's impossible, and I think the more you mature and the older you become, the bigger your goals, right? When just a bit of a story. When I was really young, my dream was to win a national championship. I started skiing at a very young age, and when I was 18, I competed, and I was a national champion of where I come from, of Lebanon.
Wow.
And then when I turned about 18 years old, I used to work in events myself, and I wanted to go. I was about to go to college, and I told my father that I wanted to open up a company. He thought I was crazy. He's like, "You're 18 years old. You're going off to university." I'm like, "I want to open up a business." And at 18 years old, I opened my first company, and the company grew to have about 1,500 young students and young adults work for it, and I sold the last 5% of the company in January. So I feel like nothing is impossible since you're very young. And now my next goal is to build the strongest, most agile, and most creative marketing team probably in the world, and I think we're on the way to get there. And then again, eventually, I think my biggest goal is to become CEO of a very large or a global organization. And I hope, just like Zaina, I can get there in not so long. But I think it's good to dream. And I think one thing that I want to tell everyone listening, and probably all women, that you can never dream big enough. And the more you can dream, and the more you will get to places. And I think it's also about not just having that massive goal to get to, but also these small goals, as and when you grow, that will get you to places. So, and you can learn from your experiences along the way, and they will be completely invaluable. So.
Yes, and if I may add, have fun alongside that journey of reaching the goal.
Yes.
The journey is as important as the destination. Thank you so much. I am so happy to have steered this conversation, such a meaningful conversation with each one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening in, those who are present. I would like to hand over to Rosa now for a few questions if there's time.
Thank you very much, Rupkata and the fabulous panel. It's quite an honor to be sitting here amongst such experienced and dynamic women leaders in our industry. We do have some time for questions, which is great. So if you just bear with me, I'll find the first one and we'll get started. Okay. Sheikha Munira, if you can help us with this one. In the MENA region, is the MENA region supportive to women leaders? And do you believe there is a future for young women who may be listening today to advance within our industry across the MENA?
The industry, the MENA region is very supportive of women. In Kuwait, we also have equal pay. My message to all young girls, I did it, you can all do it.
Thank you very much. And Zaina, what would your view be on this? Do we have a lot of support in this region?
I think there is very good support from both, GCC countries, both government sectors and private sectors for women. UAE has recently put together equal pay, so that's a huge step towards women growing in their leadership role, and we can see that very obviously here in the UAE.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Zaina. Shifa, if you can hear me, can you tell me your views on this? Is there support? Do we have enough equality? And is there a future for young women in the MENA region to become leaders?
Absolutely. I think this region is very supportive of women entrepreneurs and employees in the government and private sector, and also expats like me who are not citizens. This region is extremely supportive of women.
Thank you, Shifa. Maria, can you please give us your views on this?
Yes, look, I agree with what the other panelists have said, and I also think that organizations have more and more, or are realizing more and more, that the more women you have in your organization, the better your performance. And I think there's been several research that have proven that that women can contribute positively to your top and bottom line, and I think there's definitely room for more. I think it's a journey. I don't think we're there yet. And I think in the World Economic Forum, they said that it's going to take us about 99.5 years to close the gender gap. I'm hoping that this region would actually fast track that a little bit, like they have with a lot of other things, seeing Dubai and Saudi and where we've been. But yes, I definitely look at the government in the UAE and a few other organizations, EMAR, Majid Al Futtaim, a few of the other big local organizations. There's definitely room for a lot more female leaders in these very high positions.
Thank you very much, Maria. We do still have time, so we will move to another question. Let's have a look. Okay. Tell us, please, in your own words, what characteristic you feel is crucial to becoming a female leader in our industry. What characteristic, perhaps within yourself, have you found has helped you the most? Zaina, please, if you could start us off.
I think it's very important to have passion. Passion to me is number one. If you don't love what you do, you will not go anywhere, whether it's to become a leader in your industry, whether it's to open up your own business, or anything and everything that you do in life. If you don't have passion for that, I personally believe you will go nowhere. Growing up the ladder and becoming a female leader, I think we need thick skin. We definitely need not to be shy to voice our opinion, and to also not to be shy to take control. Maybe women would be somewhat inclined to be a little bit shy to give decisions when you're on a table with 10 men around you, but having that strong personality to voice your opinion and just take charge, I think this is what you need to become to grow up that ladder.
I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you, Zaina. Sheikha Munira, can you please share with us your views? What characteristic do you feel helps females to become strong leaders for the future?
I echo what Zaina just said. Passion. Passion is the most important thing. For me, I love my work. I love what I do. I do it with lots of love, and I believe that has made all the difference.
Thank you very much. Maria, can you please share with us your views? What characteristic do you think has helped you to become a woman leader, and what would you recommend is one that perhaps we should work on more as young females in the industry for those that are listening?
Yeah, I think I've answered this. I've briefly answered this question before, but I would reiterate that curiosity is one of the traits that I believe would get you to places. So curiosity and perseverance. But also creativity and innovation is key to keep reinventing yourself and to be able to get to places. And then on the soft side, I think compassion is massive. Compassion and integrity, those are two of my big values. So I think these are two of the things that I would recommend focusing on while growing up the ladder.
Thank you, Maria. And Shifa, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
I actually agree with all of the panelists. They all touched on. Only thing I would add is also persistence to move forward, push forward, and patience. Right.
Thank you so much. If we still have Rufkata on the line, I'd like you to help us with this one as well, Rufkata, having come from a very strong position in the world of media and journalism. What do you feel is a characteristic that helped you as you endeavored to get to the top?
I would hinge more towards curiosity and compassion and being passionate about what we do. And very importantly, we really need to enjoy our journey.
Once again, fantastic answers. Thank you so much. As we close this session, I'd like to thank you all again. It's been very interesting. We've had a number of questions come in. However, we are once again needing to get ready for our next session. Thank you to all our attendees. Thank you for sending your questions in. We will endeavor to answer them as soon as we can after the event, so please do keep sending them in. This just leaves me to wrap up this one and ask you to bear with us while we get ready for the next session. Thank you very much.